What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Game Changers. I'm your host and founder, Jalen Tart, and Joe and Zay will be here in just a moment. But we have a special guest, former NFL player, Chris Mano, joins the show with us today. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. Thank you all for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. So Chris, I know that you are a former NFL player. Can you elaborate and talk about your journey into the NFL and what have you learned throughout your journey in the NFL?
All right. So, in a nutshell, it was a crazy journey, very unique. I started playing late from Long Island, not quite a football hotbed, but I started playing real late. Senior year was my first year. I was always a baseball kid growing up. My two best friends played and kind of coerced me into playing a couple days before training camp. I stepped on a field. I did pretty well. And then once I caught a ball in the game, I loved it, man. I was hooked. From there, I walked on at Hofstra University. Obviously, that's where you and I met. Walked on my first year, kind of busted my butt, got beat up every day on the scout team or the picture team. And after a year, was offered a scholarship and was able to finish my last 4 years on scholarship. The the coaching staff changed in my third year. So we went from what was a run and shoot or like a spread offense where a guy like me would have been perfect. It was my time to start playing. And unfortunately, then our coach retired and we switched to a predominantly run offense. So again, I didn't put up a ton of stats. I still probably wasn't super ready to play and still trying to get better. And I caught 25 balls, so nothing to really write home about. But for whatever reason, man, I had this unwavering belief in myself that if I did stuff right and I worked as hard as I could, probably a little crazy in hindsight. I'm sure other people were probably thinking the same, but I thought I could play here. From there, I paid to try out for an arena team in New Jersey. I started game one, so I wound up doing a workout with their players, and they kept me. I started game one. I played 8 games that year. I went all pro. And from there, I said, I have some film now. What can I do next to kind of just keep progressing? So I know somebody who was real plugged in at IMG Academies in Florida. And so I was able to get myself on a field down there with guys that you all watch every week. So they sent me down there, and my coach at the time was a guy named Chris Mano. If you're familiar with it, Heisman Trophy winner, drafted by the Carolina Panthers, so on and so forth. So he's there. He's running everything in IMG, and he says, you can send him down, but the second he slows us up, I'm sending him home. So cut and dry, that was the deal. So I'm down there at the combine class, and obviously playing at Hofstra, coming from a small school, you don't really know what else. You see these guys on TV, Ohio State. You see, these SEC schools, these Big 10 schools, these Big 12 schools, and you don't know. You think you can play, but you don't really know until you're there. So I get out there the first day. I'm training with Luke Kuechly, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson. This is their class. So I happen to be down there with their class. And a couple of days in, I kind of start to find my legs, and I feel like, I can play with these guys. And from there, I was able to kind of work my way into a shot, which was kind of another crazy story. I don't want to take it too much time. You ask me about it, I'll tell you. If not, no sweat. And, a guy from up here, Vinny Testaverde, played 22 years, I think, in the league, went to the U, Heisman Trophy winner, first overall pick. He wound up being the quarterback coach down there, and he saw me training every day. So I'd go out and I'd run routes with Russ. And then, so basically the guys down there knew that they were going to be drafted. I knew I had no shot. Like, this is not my ticket to the league, was not through the draft. So I'm just going to have to work. So I'm down there. I'll run a session with Russ Wilson, catch footballs. Everybody would go back to the room. I'd be in my room resting, and Tannehill would call. And I'd go out and I'd catch balls for Tannehill. And I'd go back to the room, and Kirk Cousins would call. And I'd go back and catch balls. So 2, 3, 4 times a day, I'm out there. My legs are cooked. And all the other receivers, after their first workouts of the day, they're hanging in the room resting because they don't want to, they know they're set.
Right.
But Vinny T is the quarterback coach down there. And he says to me after about 6 weeks, like, Chris, what is your deal, man? Why are you here? Why are you not playing? I said, Vin, I can't get a workout anywhere. Nobody giving me a shot to play. So Vinny's like, let me see what I could do. So he calls Kansas City for me that night. They flew me out that night. They worked me out the next morning, and they signed me on the field. So crazy story. Not your average trip, but thank God I was very fortunate, man. Some good people in my corner.
So from what you learned in the NFL, how does that translate to what you do now in the current? I know that you personally trained with NFL, trained with prospects going into the NFL. So what is that
Right.
experience like for you? If you can elaborate on that as well.
So, granted, so I didn't play a ton, obviously. I wasn't there for very long, but I was there for long enough to kind of understand how everything goes and how things do. And so, like you said, I'm a sports performance specialist now. I work with athletes from youths to professional, you know, let's say my NFL guys, for example. So, the easiest way for me to kind of convey to them the importance of what we do is to explain to them that, I mean, you've seen me in person. I'm 6 foot on
Right.
my best day, 195 pounds. I blend in with any crowd. I don't really look like what you'd imagine. Look, I'm no DK Metcalf. So it's basically, I'm able to say from experience, like, this stuff here, guys, if you really buy in and you really do things the right way and you really believe in what we're doing, this is what got me from a walk-on who started playing at 17 years old to the NFL. So I can kind of speak from a place of passion and a place of belief in what I do, and just unwavering belief in myself, man. And I try to put that upon my athletes now. And and look, I tell them all the time that the probability you'll go into the league, look, I wish every one of my guys could go to the league. It'd be amazing. But just statistics say that's not the way it's going to go. So, but everything that I use to become a professional athlete or to become a walk-on to a scholarship player to a professional athlete, all of these tools, all of these habits transfer to anything. Like, tell me something in the world that you work your butt off for and you're worse for it, right? So you just work
Mhm.
hard, man. You treat people good. You believe in yourself. You believe that whatever you want to do, if you take no shortcuts, you can do. And if you don't, good things happen in other realms just because of the work habits that I've built. So I'm just diligent. I'm scheduled. I believe in myself, man. And I just always found that those traits translate to everything I'm doing. See, I'm trying to now, you see, I'm trying to move my way into this sports media thing. And granted, I'm not great at it yet. But I'll be darned if I don't listen to that show as soon as we're done and sit down with Mr. Silverman, who's willing to help me with some stuff and make corrections. And if
Right.
every week I'm not getting a little bit better, then I'm doing something wrong. So I listen to what you guys say. I ask all of you all who've been doing it. So I played football at a high level. You all done this way longer than me. So I have no problem picking y'all's brain afterwards. Gabe helps me a ton. Griff helps me a ton. These guys help me a ton just asking questions, bouncing stuff off. And that's another thing, man. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Somebody's always smarter than you. That's a good thing.
Right. So what advice would you give to your clients that you work with that's getting into the NFL or just wanting to just pursue their personal goals in life while you're training with them?
So, like I kind of, just to touch on what I was just saying, it starts with you believing in everything you're doing, right? I've always found that if I truly believe in what I want to do, there's more probability that I can do it. Because if I'm just faking it, you're not going to get my full effort, my full energy, my full focus, right? If it's something that you want more than anything in the world, I mean, always we have to be realistic. I mean, we become a society where it's kind of like anything you want to do, you can do. And I love the message, I really do. But if I wanted to play the 5 for the Knicks, it's not happening. If I wanted to go chart on the billboards, it's not happening. But if you realistically can hone in on something, you continue to get better at it. And look, it could lead you in a million different directions, man. The world is weird, right?
Right.
I've been talking sports since I'm 6, right? I got to play it for a long time because it's what I love. But now look, I've veered off into this other avenue, and the stuff that me and you do in the office for an hour and a half before we start, do that for a career? Are you crazy? It's like the coolest thing ever. So
Right.
I think that's what I tell everybody. You got to believe in yourself, and if you don't, other people won't. And then, like I said, just never fear the journey. Embrace the journey, man, because if it happens overnight, it could disappear overnight. And it's not, I can say from my experience as a kid who did walk on, and I had nothing, man. My mom told me, Chris, we didn't come from an affluent family. So it was, Chris, you got 1 year to get this scholarship. If you can get it, you can stick. If you can't, then we got to figure out something else. And it was basically like the fact that everything came harder to me, I tend to believe I appreciate it more. If I'm going to just be totally honest, I remember the conversation with Coach Gardy where they gave me the scholarship. dude, I cried like a little kid. I cried and cried. Well, it was like the happiest thing that ever happened to me. Then I went to the league and I worked out and I put everything in my heart into, and it's so crazy because you put everything in your soul into preparing for a 15-minute job interview, right? Because that's in theory what it is for us. I spent years from the time I'm 17. I didn't get a workout till I was 26. So I put 9 years into hoping that these 15 minutes I do what I'm supposed to. And when I nailed it, I knew I nailed it. And I sat down with the coaches afterwards and they offered me a contract. And again, just balling. And it's like, I think I appreciate everything I was able to achieve because none of it came easy to me. And I tend to find now in hindsight that the journey is as important as the destination, you know?
Right.
So
I appreciate the story, Chris. We're going to end part 1 of this episode of Game Changers. We're going to come right back with the full crew. Don't go away, everybody. So, fellas, welcome back to part 2 of Game Changers. Joe, I'm glad you're able to join on. We're just not going to waste any more time. We're going to get right into it. So, I know everybody saw Aaron Judge, the controversy of Aaron Judge's contract. Everybody thought he was going to the Giants. Then they pulled out. And now Aaron Judge signed this big multi-million-dollar contract with the Yankees. So, Chris, I'm going to start with you. What was your reaction? And did the Yankees overpay Aaron Judge going forward?
My reaction was like everybody else's reaction. The only thing is I was able to decipher. I think Heyman's tweet said something along the lines of like he's leaning towards or chances are he's signing with. So I'm big on until I hear it, it's a sure shot. Heyman is one of the few reputable baseball reporters you believe. So that kind of sucked for me to start thinking he was probably gone. But until I heard he was signed, I wasn't completely sold. Now my ideas on how much they spent, this is what I laugh at this, man, and I hear it all the time. Look, when fans get at a sport like baseball where there's not a hard cap, we can kind of spend whenever as long as your owner is willing. I find it so funny when fans complain about Steve Cohen overspending or Hal Steinbrenner overspending. I'm like, what are you stressing about? It's not your money. It's not your money. If your owner's willing to spend the money, let him spend the money. What are we worried about? That's kind of, I think $40 million a year is what I thought would get the deal done. The journey that it took to get there was kind of crazy. I've heard things like there's a possibility that somebody in Judge's camp asked Heyman to tweet that so that the Yankees might call back and make that little last-ditch effort. That was pretty crazy. Look, dude's unquestionably, in my eyes, the best position player in the league right now. I mean, Shohei's not quite there. I don't know what do you even, that guy's a unicorn. What do you even label that guy? But aside from him, man, from just a complete package, man, the guy, what doesn't the guy do? He is the picture of your 5-2 player. Hits for average, hits for power, plays defense, right? He could swipe a bag. So if anybody warrants being the highest paid position player in baseball, it's got to be Judge, right?
Right. Go ahead, Joe.
Agree. I agree 100%. It's definitely not an overpay to the best player in the MLB right now. You're going to have to spend money to get one of the best players. But when I heard the news, Jalen, you actually texted in the group chat that Judge was headed to the Giants at first. And I was like, okay. So I had to look a little deeper. And then it was John Heyman that tweeted it. And like Chris said, he cannot be trusted. I mean, Jeff passing this away, okay? But anyway, as a huge Yankees fan, I'm so glad that this deal got done. But we need to improve. We still need to improve with pitching. I'm glad Rizzo is back. But back to the matter of this topic, it's not an overpay to the best player. $40 million a year is great.
I just think that you don't give away someone who is the franchise face of the Yankees. For what
Absolutely.
he did last season, you don't let him walk away to go to San Francisco or to go to the Padres. He is your centerpiece for the Yankees, and they needed to get this deal done. I thought the timing of it was a little bit off. I was shocked that when the first report came out for the Giants, I thought it was done. Then they said that it was a false report. Then I was like, okay, then the Yankees are back in, and now they got a chance to offer him an actual deal. Judge took it. now we're back here. I think I agree with you, Joe. They do need help with the pitching. Once they get the pitching down and get the bullpen straight, they should be able to contend. But the thing is, they got to get past the Astros. If they can't get past the Astros in the playoffs, they're not winning the World Series. So I think with Judge staying there, that's step one of getting back to those glory days and getting back to the World Series.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, right? Oh, sorry, I don't mean to go for
No,
it.
go ahead.
Look, well, as of right now, we made a great first step in signing Judge, but theoretically, we're just trotting out the same team as last year as of now, right? We've only signed our own guys. You hope that they can fill that left field hole. I like Benintendi myself. He kind of fits what the Yankees really were missing during the playoffs. Contact guy, plays a good left field. We saw how having was it Oswald Cabrera? I'm confused by the two of them.
Oswaldo Cabrera.
Oswaldo Cabrera was out there, and he kind of got a bad beat on 2 balls out there that really cost him a lot. Having Benintendi back there is going to be real helpful for him. I'm hearing a lot about Rodon, and as long as he can stay healthy, man, that's a huge upgrade. You got to hope that you get something out of their pitcher they grabbed at the trade deadline last year. Hope Severino comes along, but yeah, I mean, look, there are, as you said, definitely holes to be filled, but you hope they'll go out there and fill them, right? I've even heard talks about Correa in the last day or two. There's a lot going on. Lot going on. I think a lot's going to happen before it's all said and done.
Zay, you just came into the chat. Give me your quick thoughts on Aaron Judge signing to the Yankees, if you are in.
I mean, with him going to the Yankees, that's a great move because, that's good for Yankees fans. That's good for, honestly, for the MLB as a collective. Because if he would have gone to, the Giants, I promise you the Yankees fans would have been disappointed. Like Joe, no offense, Joe, I know you would have been disappointed. And I know the MLB would have been going crazy because it's already been crazy with big known names going to, other teams.
Yeah. And just to add on, like Chris said, there's still work that needs to be done for the Yankees. Getting Judge back was our biggest need, but we still need to upgrade with the pitching. We lost Jameson Taillon. I mean, he was okay, but at the end of the season kind of regressed. So now he's with the Cubs. So we have to push for Carlos Rodon now. We have to try to re-sign Benintendi because, like Chris said, Oswaldo Cabrera, he's probably going to be a great fit for this team in the future. But for now, we're going to need somebody like Andrew Benintendi along with Harrison Bader and Aaron Judge in the outfield. So as long as we can get those pieces, then will we contend for a World Series title.
All right. So with that being said, we will move right on to the NFL. So the playoffs is right around the corner. The teams are going crazy with this stretch with the playoffs coming to an head. So, coming closer, should I say. You got 3 teams. The Chargers are clinched the playoff. Well, they didn't clinch, but they're in the driver's seat of getting the playoff spot. But New England playing right now, they're in the contention as well. So, fellas, I want to ask, Joe, I'll start with you. Who's making the 3 wild card spots in the AFC and in the NFC?
But that's just very tricky. But I'm going to start with the AFC. So, we can go ahead and put, because I forgot the wild card spots, but I think it was the Chargers, who else was in the AFC?
So you have the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Bengals.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so the Bengals is just automatic. I'm going to go ahead. They could still win the division, but I'm going to say them. I think Miami can still make a playoff appearance. And to be honest, I got the Patriots because and here's why, because Bill Belichick is the greatest coach that we ever seen. Every year it seems like the Chargers just do something to mess things up. We seen it last year when they lost to the Raiders. But I just think that the Patriots can.
Oh, Joe done went out. Zay, what you got? Joe back. Joe back. Go ahead, Joe.
But anyway, I'm going to say New England, Miami, and Cincinnati.
Okay. Go ahead, Zay.
All right, I'm gonna start out. You said for both the AFC and the NFC.
Yeah, let's do the AFC first. Just go quick with the AFC.
Okay, for the AFC, so I'm looking at the standings right now. So it'll be between the Ravens and the Bengals, depending on who wins the division. So it's gonna be either one of them. Everybody else kind of like So the Chargers might make it. Dolphins for sure, but one team I'm probably going to solidify. Well, the Dolphins I'll solidify. The Chargers, but I'm gonna put the Jets in.
Okay.
Because you're sleeping on Mike White. Like, I mean, Mike White has been a powerhouse this season. I mean, that man been in the war battle on Sunday. Like, he had to get carried off by the ambulance. Like, come on, man. And then you got one of the best. You got like a top 5 corner this year in Sauce Gardner. Like, come on now. The Jets are rebuilding.
Chris, what you got?
Yeah, as you guys said, somebody's coming out of that division. Right now, the Ravens to the top. Nobody wants to see Cincinnati right now. They're doing exactly what they did last year. They kind of find their stride this time of year, right? And they just look like a juggernaut going in. It's exactly the same. Chase is starting to get healthy. Joe Burrow's starting to fire on all cylinders. I think Cincinnati takes one of those spots hands down, unquestionably, and I don't think anybody wants to play them. Like Zay said, Jets, they're on the outside looking in right now, but their schedule kind of makes me think, I think they're going to have to take 3 out of 4, and I think it's doable. They got the Lions, who aren't a gimme anymore. Miami doesn't look crazy to me. I mean, it depends what Miami team shows up. Last night, I didn't see anything that made me believe that this team was a sure shot playoff team. So hopefully, look, and the Jets can help their own cause by beating Miami. So that's good. That's what you want to see. You kind of have the opportunity to help your own cause with that. And yeah, San Diego looks good. They looked great last night. If the San Diego team from the last time we saw Herbert shows up, they're going to be a tough team. See if their receivers can kind of get healthy. See if their defense can get healthy. And again, if they're firing like they're supposed to be at this time, I think they take one of the spots. So I'm going to go with the Jets taking that last spot. I'm going to go with San Diego getting one of them. I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
The Bengals are a lock for me. The Dolphins, this is my concern with the Dolphins. Can they perform on the road versus how they perform at home? That is the problem. I think they're a different team on the road versus at home. So in the playoffs, that's going to answer a lot of questions about this team with the Dolphins. The Chargers, as much as it pains me to say this about the Jets, I think the Chargers are going to outlast the Jets to get that final playoff spot. The way Herbert is balling, from what I've seen last night from Herbert, if he can show that from now until the end of the season, they're getting in the playoff. I think the Jets with that division, I don't know. And with the rest of their game, like you said, Chris, with their schedule, 3 out of the 4, that's not enough. I don't think it's enough for the Jets to get in. So I'm gonna stick with with what I'm seeing now. The Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Chargers as the playoff spots in the AFC.
Wait, Jalen, before you move on, you said that winning 3 out of the next 4 would not be enough. Can you tell me what you mean? Because right now the Jets are sitting at 7-6. So winning 3 out of those 4 games will put them at 10-7.
Wait, and let me
add
on. I say this: the Jets final 4 games this year. They play at home with Detroit. I think that's going to be a dub. They play Jacksonville.
You think they're going to beat Detroit?
But let's not sleep on Detroit. Let's not sleep on Detroit.
I'm not sleeping on Detroit.
They won how many? They won what? 4 straight?
I think
you're right, but hear me out. They're at home against Detroit. They're at home against Jacksonville, and their last 2 away games are at Seattle and at Miami. That Miami game is going to go down to the wire if both of them go neck and neck.
So with the Chargers, they got the Titans that just got blown out by Jacksonville. They got the Colts. Then they play the Rams, who are last in the division, and they play the Broncos, who are last in the division. They're winning those 4 games. If they're
the Dolphins got to see the Jets too, it's somewhere in there. The Dolphins got to see the Jets somewhere in there too, right?
I'm about to look right now. I got the Dolphins right here. Here we go.
Yeah, they got to see the Jets.
They play the Jets. The last game of the season is the Jets. So if the Jets win, they're in. If the Dolphins win, they're in.
But I'm just saying,
providing they all take care of business getting into that game, right?
Now,
but like, go ahead.
The Dolphins still have to play Buffalo. They play Buffalo this week. Then they still got to play at New England. Then they got to play at home.
Mind you, earlier in the year, Miami took care of Buffalo, and that's a tough team to beat twice in 1 year, right? We saw the Jets try to do it. You can beat Josh Allen twice, and you're going to go up to Buffalo now and win. Tough spot to play.
They're not doing that. They're losing 3 straight.
So I think we feel the same in that. I mean, like you said, they're not the same Lions, man. I still think the Lions are a year away. I think they're showing good signs, but pertaining to the Jets, I think the Jets can get that game. They're going to be playing with the notion that it's a do or die. Everything's a playoff game for them now. They're going to have to beat Jacksonville. If you can't beat Jacksonville, you don't deserve a playoff spot right now.
Right.
Seattle's trending in the wrong direction, right? Geno looks different than the first 6 weeks. Geno, you got to win that one. And if they take care of those, they're coming into that last game knowing that we've done everything we're supposed to. We're just going to step on these guys' throats, and it's it. And we're in. If they get to the point where they control their own destiny against that Dolphins team, I don't see any reason why they can't take care of business against them.
Now, if they beat the Lions and they beat the Jags, they're in. They're clinching, because you can easily beat the Seahawks. They look different, like you said, Chris. They look so different. But we can go now to the NFC. So with the NFC, you have, if I can find the list,
it's Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants.
Yeah, so you got the Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants.
You got the NFC East. It's the
That's
NFC.
Really, yes.
We're gonna call it the NFC Beast. That's what it's been.
The NFC Gauntlet, NFC East Gauntlet. That's what this is. So
not 2 years ago,
I'll start it off. The Cowboys, man. They're getting in. They're getting in.
They signed T.Y. Hilton today, too.
Now, the Giants,
see them sign T.Y. Hilton today?
This is the crazy part. Is Heineke a better quarterback than Daniel Jones? Everyone's
Heineke can get the job done better than Daniel Jones.
Okay,
but
I think Daniel Jones has better physical tools. I think Taylor Heineke. I'd like to see what Daniel Jones does with a Terry McLaurin out there. Tell you that he don't have a Terry McLaurin to throw the football to. That's very helpful. But
Heineke is a better pocket passer. Daniel Jones is a better runner.
I agree.
Okay, I'll take that. I mean,
and it's just bad when your wide receiver 1 is Terry McLaurin and Daniel Jones' wide receiver 1 is Isaiah Hodgins. Who is Isaiah Hodgins? Come on now.
So here's my thing. This is my theory. Whoever wins this game Sunday night, they're getting in the playoff. It does not matter what the schedule says. They're getting in the playoff. So it's going to come down to that. The Lions, they could sneak in. If they went out, they're in. They got to win out.
They could. Seattle's still in it.
Seattle ain't no.
I mean, they're going downhill. Slowly. But if we look at Seattle's last couple of games, they got San Francisco, who's their rookie quarterback looking pretty good. Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, let's face it, it's the Chiefs, right, Chris?
Yes.
But, they got a tough road out there in Seattle, man. They got a tough road out there in Seattle. They got to see a Jets team that's playing for their lives too. Yeah. That's not going to be an easy win, And the Jets don't want to get their season ended by Geno Smith, so they're going to come out there swinging. So now the Giants, the Giants could luck out is. You hope by the last week when everything matters, if they do what they're supposed to do in the next couple, they're going to see Philadelphia, who has the division clinched already. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if maybe they get a game without Jalen Hurts or without A.J. Brown or maybe guys like Devontae Smith are resting. That turf up in MetLife is dangerous for everybody. I don't see any. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked at all if their coach is like, you know what? we're going to live to play another day. We're going to take this L to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
We got everything locked up. Let our best guys chill. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if that game comes down to the Giants having to pull one out there. That's going to be a huge Christmas gift for them.
And I also think if as long as the Eagles can just go ahead and clinch the number 1 seed and get the bye, Sirianni is going to sit out Jalen Hurts in Week 18 and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So it could be a win for the Giants. It could be.
Especially up on that turf, man. I'm telling you, people fear that turf nowadays. Like something like 21 ACLs in the last 4 seasons.
Wow.
Giants, I read an article about it the other day. They're switching out that turf after this year. So there's no reason to take that risk. No reason. If you got everything locked up, you don't want to. Jalen Hurts goes down, the season's over, right?
Yeah.
AJ Brown goes down. That's a huge hit.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders had a great year. You know what I mean? So you don't want to risk losing any of these guys, especially against a team like the Giants, who, when you have everything sewn up.
That's
Zay,
right.
You got anything to add? No. All right.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Pretty much the NFC. This is the NFC. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the NFC East. The way it's looking right now, the Packers, they out. Bears, they're already out.
They're done.
I say everybody else. You have literally no other team that can go to the wild card except for possibly Detroit, Seattle, and everybody else in the NFC East. If you go to the NFC South, they look like the NFC East 2 years ago. No offense, Joe.
Not the shots, not the NFC East shots. But we're going to get to the last topic. We're going to do a quick pitch really fast. With AD coming back to his old form, playing MVP-like numbers, averaging 30-plus, and almost a triple-double. Well, not really a triple-double, but he's averaging a double-double. With him being this healthy, can the Lakers make the playoffs this year? Zay, I'll start with you.
Well, knowing me, I don't really keep up with the NBA like that. I mean, I'm gonna completely be honest with you, but I mean, the Lakers aren't doing bad. They 12th in the West right now with an 11-15 record. That's a better start than they were pretty much in their last 2-3 seasons ever since they won the NBA Finals. But AD, he's going back to his normal self. I doubted AD. I was just all right. Cool. He really got hurt, and I was like, oh yeah, he keep putting up numbers. I was like, okay, well, he about to get hurt again. But it's a possibility. But you just gotta fight through everybody else in the West right now, because it's because that 1 through 13 spot, it's anybody can switch around all night long. The standings can be all over, it's just crazy. So there's a possibility. I'm not trying to get too much of my hopes up, even though I'm not a true Lakers fan personally, because I'm a LeBron bandwagon, but still it can happen. But the Lakers just got to do better. That's my only concern. Okay. And he can't carry the load to himself.
Chris, what you got? Quick one. Go ahead.
Well, everybody's saying AD's playing outrageous. AD's playing outrageous. AD's just playing like AD. Anytime AD's on the floor, he's the best player on the floor. But AD's never on the floor. So, I mean, I would, if I had to put my house on it, AD's going to get hurt. And we've seen this movie for 10 years now.
Wow.
Right? When is he not? When has he not gotten hurt, man? He's a phenomenal player. He could have been, they talk about him as amongst the all-time greats.
Yeah.
What's always been the issue with it? I mean, you all know the nickname now, right?
And I'm going to expound on that point in a minute. Go ahead, Joe. I'm going to expound on that in a minute. Go ahead, Joe.
All right. So, congrats to AD. We're saying how he's playing. Like Chris said, this is just AD. And the reason why the Lakers won a championship in 2020 is because of AD, primarily. But I'm going to say no. And not because I think he's going to get injured. It's because the West is just too loaded. And I just don't see the Lakers pulling it out. So I'm going to say no.
Okay. I'm going to say yes. For right now, I'm going to say yes. My only concern is the health overall as a team and help shooting the ball better with complementary pieces to help the squad now. I think if AD goes down, who is your backup power forward that's going to put up the numbers that AD is putting up? That's why I feel as if they should go get a Vucevic or a solid 4-player center to help contemplate with that, if that does happen. Now, they're looking into getting either Bojan Bogdanovic, Evan Fournier, or Cam Reddish. Me personally, I like Cam Reddish. I think Cam Reddish can get to the basket. I think Cam Reddish can shoot the ball. And I think he could play perimeter defense when they need him to play perimeter defense. Bojan. I saw what Bojan did against the Lakers when they played Detroit on Sunday. He dropped 32 points and he hit 4 3-point shots. We need somebody that can put the load on that off the bench with Russell Westbrook. I think as long as they're healthy as a collective unit, they should make the playoffs. But if they're not healthy and they're not playing the games that they need to win, they're not making the playoffs.
But for a guy like, real quick, for a guy like Cam Reddish or Bojan, I've been hearing they're going to trade something like Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverly.
They're
not really going to get.
Now,
what pieces do you have to trade?
I think with Patrick Beverly, he's not scoring offensively, but he's giving you defensive effort. They want someone that can give you both. The Lakers are not a split down the middle and I'm going to do one thing that I'm good. No, like I get Beverly is good and he's just not a consistent scorer that what we're looking for with Bojan. Well, I'm not saying but the Lakers are looking for with Bojan, with Cam and Evan Fournier. I think with Evan Fournier, his style is kind of like, I'm going to get people going. And once everyone gets going, then I'm going to add on to it. That's Evan's style. I think with Nunn really isn't giving you a lot of minutes from what I've seen over the road trip. He only played the Detroit game during the 6-game road trip. So you need someone that can give you minutes. Like I said, Patrick Beverly, he's in the starting lineup. I just think that with him being undersized and guarding people, it's just not going to work because all these players are either 6 foot and up and they're moving quick, or they're just going to back him down and he can't really do anything. It's going to be a mismatch. And that's not good for the Lakers. They're going to need someone that can score, and they're going to need someone that can defend. Darwin Ham has put a great defensive philosophy to help the Lakers defend. They're way better defending than what they were with Frank Vogel, from what I'm seeing. So that's just how I see it. I think Cam Reddish, to me, is the complete set for both. I like Bojan scoring, but if you need someone that's young and that can run up and down the floor, get Cam Reddish.
And since he's been in Thibodeau's system, he was in the doghouse for a while, not even seeing the floor.
Right.
To get himself in, you could see him. He worked real hard on his defense. I've seen a couple games this year where I was pretty impressed by him. I'm pretty upset that he fell out of that rotation. I was like,
right. And I think when you implement him in Ham's system, I can see it now. Him and Lonnie Walker on the floor together, shooting the way that they're shooting with Austin Reed. That's going to be interesting. I would want to see that. So, fellas, if there ain't nothing that we can discuss, that will do it for this edition of Game Changers. Chris, it's always a pleasure you coming on. I'm glad you
appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Without further ado, hope everyone takes care, and we're gonna have a special episode before the end of the year. Y'all take care, y'all. Peace out.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.